This episode is brought to you by Huel. Huel is a complete meal with nutrients you need to thrive, which is why I love it, because I can just throw this stuff in their cute little shaker and get on my way. I just tried Huel's Black Edition vanilla flavor and it was amazing. I like to mix mine with a banana and a little bit of chocolate. And just when you thought Huel had everything covered, they just dropped a first of its kind Super Greens drink in a can. It's called Huel Daily Greens Ready to Drink. You can try Huel right now with 15% off for new customers today using my code DENVER at Huel.com/Denver. Fuel your best performance with Huel today. That's Huel.com/Denver. And don't forget to use my special code DENVER. This episode is brought to you by Window Nation. It's September, cooler weather's on the way, and if your windows are drafty or leaky, now's the time to act. Replace your older builder-grade windows with custom-built, high-quality windows from Window Nation. And hey, no better time than right now. Through the month of September, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. Hurry, the buy 2 windows, get 2 free sale ends September 30th. Don't miss out. This is Window Nation's most popular deal. Schedule a fast free estimate now with Window Nation at windownation.com. That's windownation.com. Today on CityCast Denver, chefs and restaurateurs all over the city are nervously awaiting the release of this year's Michelin Guide to Colorado on Monday. A star can make or break a local business, but we're 3 years into Denver's Michelin era. Do diners care anymore? Westward food editor Molly Martin returns with gossip, insider info, and predictions for the biggest day of the year for local foodies. Today is Thursday, September 11th. I'm Bree Davies, and here's what Denver's talking about. Molly Martin, welcome back to CityCast Denver.
Thank you.
We're so happy to have you.
I'm very happy to be here.
And this is perfect timing. Producer Paul Crowley is with us as well. Hi, Paul.
Hey, I'm here all the time.
Paul's here all the time.
It's been so long for you, Molly.
I know. I've missed you guys.
I mean, do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, I can
a lot of
talk
people
about it a little
know,
bit.
I mean, welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, I've had quite a break. In March, was diagnosed with breast cancer, which if anyone, knows anyone who's been through that or has been through that knows that kind of turns into a very rapid spiral of many doctor's appointments and a lot of things you don't understand and a lot of questions and unknowns. So I went on medical leave to kind of get through that portion, understand my diagnosis and my treatment plan. And then I went through chemotherapy treatments and I had a surgery about almost 2 weeks ago now. And I'm back at work. I'm not quite done with treatment. It's a kind of long ongoing process, but I'm done with the parts that were really making me tired and unable to enjoy food.
I was just going to say, that's a big part of it if folks don't know, is food can taste weird, the textures can be tough.
Appetite changes, taste bud changes. Yeah. We're all very difficult to deal with and certainly don't go well with the job of being a food editor.
Do you have a favorite flavor of canned Gatorade?
I like just red or orange, but I think they only make them in red or orange and yellow, the cans.
The yellow?
But I'll take red or orange. Either is fine.
It is good out of a can. I'm a lemon lime gal myself.
Them. I've always liked the canned ones better. Like they sell them at ODB's. So whenever I go to ODB's, I get one. Uh-huh. But I showed up for my first chemotherapy treatment, very, very nervous. And I'm sitting there and I don't know what's going on. And they're like, here's our little kitchen stocked with things. And there in the fridge, just dozens of canned Gatorades. And I was like, at least I have something comforting.
That is a hospital staple now that I think about it when I was in the hospital.
So it became tradition. Yeah. Every time I went to get a chemo treatment, I'd pop my canned Gatorade.
Well, we're here to talk about something a little more elevated.
Maybe ODB's? Maybe.
Canned Gatorade?
Yeah. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. They have.
Some people are saying.
They have a pasta spot, right?
Not yet. It's coming soon.
Coming soon. Okay. I was just looking at pictures of it. It looked incredible. But we're talking about the Michelin Guide, this prestigious food review / tire company that is about to announce its new guide to Colorado on Monday. It's third year here in Colorado. Molly, what does Michelin mean to Colorado sort of 3 years into this?
Yeah, so if anyone wants to go back to the first year it came, there was a lot of chatter about why is Michelin coming to Colorado. And I think a lot of us learned a lot about the process of how Michelin works in that some of the tourism offices kind of get on board. Well, Michelin will approach a city, first of all, and say, hey, we think you have enough good restaurants to justify us coming here. Can we work with your tourism boards? And they agree to donate money to kind of head up some of the marketing costs that are associated with launching a guide in a state.
And this kind of payola arrangement, this is quite common in the food world, you would say, or
it's
no?
common for Michelin. I don't think that's how Michelin always worked. From what I understand, it kind of as they started to expand, outside of Europe, that's kind of become the way that they're continuing to make money.
Yeah, there was a fantastic New York Times article we talked about probably 3 years ago when this happened, and they talked about how the business model, they pivoted in like 2008, 2009 because the company was not doing great and they had to expand. And would that dilute the brand as they had to, as they were forced to pursue new revenue streams? And that's kind of what we're talking about now. You know, Denver has Michelin stars.
Yeah, but I think that's what it meant when it came here. It was kind of this mixed bag of, we're excited to have it here because it's prestigious, but Michelin itself is in this kind of fluctuation era of what does it mean? How is its meaning evolving? But I think for the restaurants, it was a real boost for them to know that company thought that there was enough talent here to justify having a guide. And I think 3 years in, we've seen some effects from it. Certainly the restaurants that have gotten stars have seen a huge boost. I think it's kind of a mixed bag with those getting the other kinds of recognition that we'll get into, the Bib Gourmands and the recommendeds. But I think overall, any chance that there is to highlight the culinary talent we have here, we can take that as a positive.
Did it surprise you that it took them so long to see Colorado in this way?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Because they really hadn't gotten into the game of expanding to other markets in the U.S. very much. They really had stuck, I think it was just Chicago and New York for a long time.
They're in Miami now. And Texas, I think, is talking about it.
Texas, they've got a Southern guide coming out now that encompasses a few different states.
You need that perfect combo of good restaurants and tourism boards with budgets.
Yeah, exactly.
And Colorado had that for,
then
for a hot minute.
I would think Albuquerque has it the way they advertise, their tourism board advertises here. But
I think at some point, Michelin will be in every state in some capacity.
Well, they should be. Because that's the thing that will limit them, and then they can reestablish what it means to have a Michelin star. Now we're in this time of flux.
Relevant.
Right.
But anyway, I think now this third year is actually particularly relevant. I was looking back at that New York Times article. Again, I'll put a link in the show notes. To get the guide, this is a quote, Colorado Tourism Office agreed to contribute $100,000 a year for 3 years.
Oh.
So this would be the third year of that initial arrangement, and they perhaps are going to be reassessing.
I was going to say, I wonder how that experiment went.
They're going to re-up? Is the price going to go up for the Michelin inspectors to come back for a fourth year? I don't know.
Right.
Maybe it's a time for Aurora to feel like they're missing out and jump in, so Annette can get the star we all know they deserve.
If the door's even still open for them. Or what happens if nobody wants to re-up? Does Michelin abandon us?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think about this a lot because, Molly, working for Westward, and I did as well, we give out awards all the time. And what I noticed, at least in the art world, is that attention does help artists or whoever's getting the award get attention in other ways and starts the conversation and gets the New York Times looking at us and things like that. So it will be interesting what they consider when they look at, did this work or was it worth it?
Right.
Look at Johnny and Casey Curiel. They're the Fondafina Hospitality Group. Yep. This is probably the number one star of the show here in Denver. Their place, Alma Fondafina, the flagship, the original, they got a Michelin star last year, and it is probably the one restaurant where it is challenging to get a reservation in Denver.
Well, it's quite small, right?
It's
got the star, and it's the only starred restaurant that's a la carte, not a tasting menu, so it's a lot more accessible financially for a lot of people.
Can you explain how that works? Because I didn't know what that meant.
So the other restaurants, you pay an upfront, multi-$100 for a multi-course tasting menu, and that's the only option to eat there.
Okay.
At Alma Fondafina, if you want to go and only order 1 or 2 dishes, you can do that.
So it does make it more accessible. Okay. I wondered what the difference was. Well, Alma Fondafina is on that list already currently with Michelin stars, Becken, Bruto, and the Wolf's Tailor. So that's currently here in Denver who has Michelin stars. Before we get to predictions, Molly, how does Michelin fit in this ever-evolving food world where, how people pick where to go to eat? I'm thinking a lot about Instagram and these other avenues now that restaurants have to attract people. How much does this matter to a diner?
I mean, I really think it depends on the diner. I think there are a group of diners for whom Michelin recognition is very important. They trust the guide. They want, whatever it is in them, though, they want to check off every starred place. They, want to try every Bib Gourmand place and compare their thoughts to maybe what the Michelin inspectors have written. And I think there are some diners that are happy to ignore Michelin.
100%.
Who say, we don't even know who these inspectors are. Why is a tire company coming here? And yeah, there's so many places to find recommendations these days. You mentioned Instagram. Obviously, at Westward, you have your local publications on the ground. We have our top 100 restaurants lists, which, we divided last year into these categories because Michelin, you're only looking at really fine dining. Obviously, anyone who eats in Denver knows that our food scene really, a lot of it thrives on the kind of hole-in-the-wall places, the smaller places, the strip mall places, the favorites that have been there for decades. They're not going to be in the Michelin guide. Does that mean they're not delicious? Certainly not.
I would put forth a thesis about broader culture in general, that the age of the rock star chef, the Anthony Bourdain era of food is waning.
Really?
And that in general, people are not as interested in paying high dollar prices for these super auteur-driven meals. And that there is in general a push more towards more affordability and more value.
What's changing?
In going out to dinner. I just think it's the times, I think the economy changed. I think the pandemic changed things a lot. People aren't as comfortable being in public situations is a big thing. But it's just,
it's a
lot
of
fads.
oversaturation too. Like I think about like the reality shows, like when Top Chef came out, right?
Yeah.
It was huge if someone in your city was on Top Chef. Now we almost don't even care if someone in the city is on.
Lucky if you get an article about it.
So many of them.
Yeah.
At the Food and Wine Fest on Saturday, I was lucky enough to be there, and there was a section of the festival for the Top Chef chef testants, which is what Bravo requests people in the media call these people, chef testants. When I worked at Eater, they specifically said in their style guide, do not use Bravo's preferred term for the chef testants. Call them chefs, call them people. Don't say chef testants. But the chef testants had their own section, and I thought they were all great. I mean, I think those people are good.
Yeah,
but that's just a whole nother way of getting recognition, being on a show like that, being in the media.
Yeah, but a little oversaturation, a little bit of, we've seen the downfall of a lot of celebrity chefs, if you will. So maybe there's a little bit of kind of pushback from that of, we don't want to put these people on a pedestal anymore. But I think locally there's still definitely, you could pick out Johnny Curiel. I think you could say is a very recognizable name now in Denver, whereas 5 years ago he wasn't, and that's a pretty amazing accomplishment.
So Denver is, in some capacity, still embracing this idea of, I don't know if it's the celebrity chef or maybe just someone who's good at what they do.
I mean, I love it. I love the drama. I love the hype. I'm there for it. I think it's fun.
Well, let's talk about predictions for this year because they're being released next week. Molly, you wrote about this. What are you thinking about? Who are you thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to break it down and we want to start at stars, to start at the top
As
level.
you please. We've each got some predictions.
Yeah. So, I mean, my prediction is kind of the same as last year, although I was wrong last year. That I don't see any new places in Denver getting a star. There's just none that rise to the top of my mind. Now, I said this last year, and I thought a lot about Alma Fondafina because to me that was an exciting, impressive addition. I thought it was number 1, 2 new. And I also thought that because it was a la carte and because Michelin had kind of set the standard of tasting menu restaurants get stars, that they would fall into probably the recommended category or maybe Bib Gourmand. And it was a really pleasant surprise to see them get a star. So I'd love to be pleasantly surprised again this year. And I think if I wanted to make a prediction for stars, I really believe that the one place that has a really solid shot of being the first Colorado restaurant to get a second star is Frasca. It's just been doing what it's doing in Boulder. It's been doing what it's been doing so well for over 20 years now. Bobby Stuckey has won so many awards through his career, but particularly in the last couple of years has been getting a ton of national recognition. It just seems like the kind of place Michelin would be likely to give a second star to.
Yeah.
And there are also some places that I wish could get a star, but because of the geographical limits, they can't. And the 2 for me and these are tricky, are both in Boulder County, which I've been told by Michelin last year that all of Boulder County is within consideration. And yet they've only put restaurants in the city of Boulder in. The two I'd love to see in the mix are Marigold, which again is a la carte, not tasting many.
Where is Marigold?
In Lyons. And then Black Cat Farm.
I know
outside of Longmont.
Heard great things.
I think that is star worthy, is green star worthy. It's an incredible experience to dine there.
Tell us more about the people behind Black Cat Farm.
So it's Eric Skoken. So he's run a farm. He has an incredible story, actually. He's kind of grown this farm over the years, and also operates Black Cat in Boulder, which has a green star from Michelin, but has kind of evolved his farm with his family to become this incredible place where they've built these greenhouses. So you go to dine and you're on a working farm, and they have kind of an old barn that they've converted into a kitchen, and everything you're eating has been sourced from the farm. Like, one of his sons makes a tea for the end of every service, and it's different every time, where he's kind of foraging from around the farm to make the teas. And I think the only things, that aren't coming from the farm are like French butter and a few kind of special imported things. But it's just a really, really special place. So you're not only like on this beautiful farm,
an experience,
but the food is so well done. And it's a little different every time because you're getting truly what's in the season.
I was talking to someone who works I think they was at Somebody People, and they were talking about how they did like a guest chef night, or like rotating chefs, and how it was just magical being in this place and having this guy's food was like really something special. Very Boulder.
I wish a star upon them if Michelin really is going outside of the city of Boulder.
Paul, what are your predictions when we're talking stars?
Okay, so I was thinking about the Alma Fondafina situation, and I was like, what was special about this? What's unique? And I was like, it was a very new restaurant. It was something that the inspectors had not had the chance to evaluate the previous year. So it came out and it was like they notched it into the star category. So I was like, what's new but has the pedigree to possibly get in there? And there's really not that much. There's not a lot of, you talk about Sap Sua, we might talk about a little bit later, that Vietnamese place that's kind of like, innovative takes on Vietnamese classics on East Colfax, right in the Lowenstein Center by the Tattered Cover. That's a good restaurant. I don't think they're getting a star this year. I think the place that has a shot is a place that I haven't heard much about, except from, I got turned on to it from my friend Dave Chung, who on YouTube, cool local YouTube guy. He did a video about this place called Kaizaki. It is an omakase place, which is the chef's tasting menu style, but Japanese. That's the Japanese version of that, basically. From the famous, the acclaimed, the pedigreed Chef Toshi, who started Sushi Den with his brother 40 plus years ago, and has now since opened Ototo and Tamaki Den, which is on the recommends list. So I know that the Michelin people like this guy, and this is a brand new spot. I was lucky enough to go with my wife a few weeks ago. It's really great. It's really special. The service is phenomenal. Each course is basically a piece of sashimi or a piece of sushi, and they'll tell you, here's where the fish was flown in from. We work with a place that's on this island. It's a 3.5 hour affair. It's so one of these super fancy places, but it's new, and it's a guy Denverites love. I think if anyone gets a star, it's him.
I love that, and I haven't been myself yet. I haven't had a chance, but and I agree with everything you're saying. I think it might be too new.
You think?
I think it might be too new.
Is it like, so is it like within the year, or?
I don't know what the rules are, but you had to think like they say they're going multiple times.
True.
How many people? It doesn't seem like they have a ton of inspectors. I thought Alma Fondafina was too new when it won, and it was a little bit older.
I think they had opened in November, and then the ceremony was the next September. So it was less than a year, but almost a year.
So you're saying that the inspectors may just haven't have had time to check out a place like this,
or to go multiple times yet.
Truly,
but I agree. Like, it should be in the mix in the future if it's not this year.
Well, Chef Toshi, he's a star. He's great. Denver loves him. It's a very expensive meal, $225.
Yeah.
It's
similar to that Sushi by Scratch that opened in Larimer Square, which its original location has a Michelin star. So you could say, well, is that an easy Michelin? They know those people. But I hope they don't. Matsuhisa here didn't get anything. Like, I hope Michelin's not just in the business of dishing out stars to offshoots of other starred places just because.
I don't know. Maybe. We'll see on Monday.
This episode is brought to you by the Children's Hospital Colorado Foundation. Children's Hospital Colorado is there for families for everything from healing broken bones to treating pediatric cancer. And did you know it's also a nonprofit? Ranked a top 10 children's hospital in the country and the #1 children's hospital in the region, Children's Colorado depends on community support to serve over 296,000 kids every year. At the Children's Gala on September 27th, make life-saving care possible for more kids while experiencing an elegant night of fun and inspiration. Enjoy a cocktail reception, multi-course dinner, an inspiring program, and live music to dance the night away. Or purchase an after-party only ticket to enjoy the live music and late-night bites. Attend the Children's Gala and give families the gift of hope. Get your tickets today at givechildrensco.org/children's gala. That's givechildrensco.org/children's gala. Brought to you by The Drop 104.7. The Drop 104.7 is Denver's home for urban alternative, where hip-hop, R&B, and conscious beats collide. They play everything from the classics to the freshest beats, while highlighting the emerging artists who are pushing culture forward. Catch live performances, artist interviews, and conversations that matter on The Drop. The station is also a hub for music discovery, healing, and community engagement, aimed at inspiring the next generation of creatives and innovators. Plus, The Drop goes beyond just musical offerings. It serves as a vibrant connector for the community, promoting local involvement and celebrating the rich tapestry of culture and arts in the region. I did wander upon the Denver DJ School block party recently, where La Molly was, who's one of the awesome DJs at The Drop, and she was interviewing DJ Maceo from De La Soul. So I randomly got to see DJ Maceo from De La Soul in person, sweetheart, and also Master DJ. It was so cute. Tune in to 104.7 FM in Denver or stream online at thedrop303.org. That's thedrop303.org and discover your next favorite track. This episode is brought to you by Wise. Wise is the app for international people using money around the globe. With Wise, you can send, spend, and receive up to 40 currencies with only a few simple taps and save up to 55% compared to major banks. Plus, Wise won't add hidden fees to your transfer. Whether you're buying souvenirs with pesos in Puerto Vallarta or sending euros to tip your Coliseum tour guide, you know you're getting a fair exchange rate with no extra markups. That's what makes Wise the fast, affordable way to use your money around the globe. Wise offers 24/7 live support and runs over 7 million daily checks to catch and prevent fraud, so you know your money is where it's supposed to be. Be smart. Join the 15 million customers who choose Wise. Download the Wise app today or visit wise.com. Learn more by visiting wise.com/US/compare. T's and C's apply. Well, let's talk about Bib Gourmand. I'd love you wrote a little bit about this, the drama around AJ's Pit Barbecue. Yeah. What happened there?
That's a long story. It's a great story, though.
What's the didn't read version of what happened there?
Long story short version. The owner of AJ's Pit Barbecue, who also had opened and closed a number of other restaurants in Denver since, I think, 2020-ish. I guess how it kind of went down was the pitmaster at AJ's kind of came out saying there were, untoward things going on behind the scenes, unpaid bills, employees not being paid.
Big stuff. Yeah.
Big stuff. And kind of staged a walkout with employees.
Owner maybe fleeing to Mexico.
Owner was already in Mexico when that happened, trying to open another one, but didn't come back from Mexico to fix any of it.
Wow.
Flash forward to a couple months ago, ended up in jail. He's in jail in Chicago now.
And we wish him a lot of luck.
So AJ's...
They were being considered, though. They had the Bib Gourmand.
Okay. And then when last year's list came off, they were not on the list anymore.
Oh. You can just be removed?
You can just be removed.
And they didn't say anything about it.
No, and it's funny when the Michelin press release comes out, and I'm basing this off last year's only, but when last year's came out, they make no mention of what's omitted. You just have to compare yourself to last year and be like, is anyone missing? It's like they never existed. They were never part of it. So AJ's was mysteriously gone from there, which worked out well for them because they didn't have to take them off later when AJ's closed.
And now, of course, the whole team from AJ's. This is one of the more exciting food stories of the summer. The team from AJ's is hooked up with Manny Barea, the former chef
was our top
testant.
chef, yes.
Former chef.
You're welcome,
Testa.
Bravo. Tim Gunn, call me. He's basically swapped in, and now they've got a new place called Riot Barbecue.
Yes.
And again, at the aforementioned Food and Wine Fest, they were totally cleared out. One of the most popular booths.
Yes.
I didn't even get to try it.
Which I hope the Michelin inspectors went back there and found Manny and Patrick, who was the pitmaster at AJ's, and maybe there'll be a new place.
That was a
makes an
prediction for me.
appearance. Yeah.
I think they're getting a bib. They're very new as well, but I think they're getting a bib gourmand this year.
Before we dig more into the Bib Gourmand, what is the distinction here between this and the Michelin star?
Bib gourmand is about value. It's about great quality for great value. That's the emphasis. So these are places that probably cost a little bit less, but are still excellent.
Now, I have a problem with Bib Gourmand and recommended, because to me, like, you could flip flop any of these to any of
And recommended
any
is
restaurant from
another
any of those two categories.
That's another category. Is
Right.
recommended.
There's kind of nothing in recommended to me that doesn't qualify for a Bib Gourmand. And I don't really see what the difference is.
Yeah, I don't know either. I do love the Bib. I mean, some of my favorite spots. La
Yeah.
Diabla has the Bib Gourmand.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite places. That's somewhere, if someone's coming to Denver, I'll recommend that.
Yeah.
No matter, I mean, for anyone. Same with the Ginger Pig. That's like, those two places are probably my favorite restaurants in the city,
Yeah.
both Bib Gourmands.
I think the Bib Gourmand list is solid. And since there's less Bib Gourmands than recommended, you could venture a guess to say that that's kind of the more prestigious honor, and that recommended's kind of like, and everything else.
I would say certainly more prestigious. I'd rather be called great value than just,
Yeah.
hey, it's good.
But once you put a Tavernetta on as great value, it gets confusing.
Well,
value for
value's
who?
relative.
Right.
Value's relative.
Value's relative. And I tried to get an answer out of this on this actually. And what I was told was one would be able to order 2 courses and a glass of wine or dessert for about $50.
Oh, Tavernetta. Good luck.
I mean,
Yeah, I know, I was
and the
gonna say.
argument for Tavernetta was they have a great lunch special. So I was like, are we giving Tavernetta's lunch a Bib Gourmand? No, I love Tavernetta, but like, to me, that could have been a star contender.
It's really
Yeah.
making the
Maybe
category.
they'll get one.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get one.
Yeah.
Any predictions for Bib Gourmand this year?
I think it's so, like I said, I have a hard time distinguishing between the Bib Gourmand and recommended. But what I kind of think should just be in the mix that has not been in the mix, there are a lot. I don't know where to start because I don't want to just start rattling places off. But they took Potager off the recommended list last year.
Huge
I don't
mistake.
know why. Would love to see that come back on. La Forette that opened on Broadway.
Not familiar,
I think
but I've heard good
deserves
things.
Something somewhere. Chiquita and Lucina.
That's on my list.
One or the other or both of them.
The other thing about Chiquita is it's new enough that it could be like, oh, we hadn't thought about this, and maybe we'll put it in there.
I think. And Lucina's been around a little bit long. I think Lucina would make a great Bib Gourmand because it's really kind of got that nice neighborhood vibes. I think it could be affordable if you're using their definition.
Yeah.
What else did I have? Oh, I mean, they seem to have a real thing for Kelly Whitaker's group. I think almost every single one of his places.
Id Est, Bruto,
So-
Wolf's Taylor.
Okay.
Some of
So,
those more high end.
So if we're going to talk what one of his places isn't on there, that should probably be there. Basta in Boulder.
Okay.
What kind of food are we talking?
So Basta's been around. Basta was his first restaurant, actually. It's been in Boulder, I want to say 15 years now.
Wow.
But they do like wood-fired pizzas. Their lasagna is amazing. They cook everything they cook in one wood-fired oven on site.
Oh, that sounds
It's really beautiful. I actually got to go there before I went on medical leave earlier this year. And it was a nice reminder that, like, we shouldn't forget about Basta.
You hear that, Michelin inspectors?
Yuan Wonton, which I kind of thought was already on the recommended list, honestly, until I double checked
Interesting.
it.
Yeah. I mean, I could see them going on there. Although that place has had some tumult. You know, I think
Where
that
are they
they were
located
hit or
these
miss
days?
for a
The
while.
Hours are a little.
Oneida Park in
Yeah.
that
Okay.
Park Hill area,
Right.
up by the Am's Ice Cream. Nice location. And then I think there was a falling out with the fucking Rapidos guys who are now
yeah.
opening in Edgewater Market.
Saigon
Place that
Noodle Club.
Seems very cool. I'd like to try.
I'm so excited that they're in Edgewater. That's great.
But yeah, I think she does some beautiful food. Whatever you want to say about the hours changing and all of that. But
It's hard to get in there,
supposedly
maybe.
Michelin
You could
doesn't
try it.
judge you on things like that. They're just judging the food. Wildflower, which is inside the Lifehouse Hotel in Lohi, I think doesn't get a lot of mention at all. And I think the chef there, Austin, does some truly beautiful food in the summers, especially when he's picking a lot of what he's using from his mother's garden. And when I say his mother's garden, it's not like a tiny garden in the back of her house and is like a garden, like an
For
impressive
restaurant use
garden.
level garden.
So yeah, there's a lot of people I think doing some beautiful food in town that are yet to be recognized. Spuntino, it's a long time one. We want to talk kind of the people who've been around a long time.
Where's that? I recognize that
That's
name.
in the Highlands.
Okay.
Yeah.
But also, that's the one in there where they're like, the inspectors have probably made their choice already.
Yeah, like Spuntino Duo, I think about. I
Nudist-
wonder if they're going to those places or if they're focusing on the new places. I have so many questions about how many inspectors do you have and how does this really work?
That's kind of my question too. Is newness really important because it puts you on the radar? But maybe you're someone who's been doing this since before Michelin was looking at us. Do you have less of a chance?
Yeah.
It's just hard to tell.
It's interesting.
It's opaque.
Yeah. And then we could talk about who could get kicked off.
I have a take for this.
Ooh,
I have a
okay. Give me
prediction.
your take.
So I think the one, I was looking at the Bib Gourmands and I was thinking about the places that I've eaten at and the chatter that I've seen. Mr. Oso, I think, is ripe to be removed from the Bib Gourmand list.
Why?
This is a Peruvian place in the Culinary Creative Group, which is Juan Padro's restaurant group. I know, very controversial.
I think it's a stretch to call it Peruvian also.
You think? He told me this whole story about how he sent this guy who he loved, who had come up from as being a dishwasher or something. He sent him to Peru to learn this cuisine and come back. And you think it's okay? Anyway, I just thought it was like blah. I went to this place. I've been twice. It was like I eat it. I'm just like, okay. The slushy drinks, the alcoholic slushy drinks are great. That's a very trendy thing. They've got them. But I'm walking away from this place every time. I'm looking at the bill, thinking, why?
What did I just pay for?
What am I? Where? Who? Where? What am I? I just got dragged across the coals here.
Anyone you think would fall off, Molly?
Nowhere that I've had like an experience like that where I left and was like, why is it on this list? But I get curious about major changes that have happened at restaurants. So I thought a lot last year about would Bruto keep its star because the chef changed.
Right.
And not only the chef changed, but changed kind of the entire concept of the restaurant and what he was doing. And if Michelin is saying it has so much to do with, the food reflecting the chef and all of these things, to me, Bruto hadn't really found its footing yet at the time. But Bruto kept its star. We all moved on. So that made me wonder, do they really care that much about changes? And it made me think about Mercantile in Union Station because they had a whole kind of renovation this year. Now they're doing the different kind of lunch service. They have a new chef in place. It's kind of a major shift for them. So I always wonder like how much they really pay attention if a place is on the list and has had some major changes since how they reassess that.
I wonder.
Yeah, and not to say the new Mercantile maybe wouldn't deserve the list. It just kind of makes me think. If I saw them fall off, I would probably think, oh, maybe they didn't have time to go see the new
Check out the new version of it.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Oso, I think will lose one. That's my big prediction. I think Sapsua we talked about before.
Yeah, I was saving Sapsua. We can talk Sapsua.
This is, if you want to talk about the story, they have a nice story too. But I thought this restaurant is I had a good time there.
Yeah.
Didn't have a great time, but the chatter I hear seems like it's one of these spots.
I think it was the one last year that everyone was kind of like, how are they not somewhere in this mix?
Conversation?
Because they've gotten so much national attention. So it's Anna Nguyen Nguyen, husband and wife. He is Vietnamese American. And when their love story started, she really kind of also fell in love with his culture and his cuisine and the cuisine he grew up on. And so they moved here and started with pop-ups and kind of building this concept on what his experience as a Vietnamese American is. So it's like taking the traditional flavors of Vietnamese dishes, but reinterpreting it through, his life experiences. And so I think people have really latched on to that and the transparency with which he talks about those stories. And of course, the flavors are really bold and exciting and they're different. If you're familiar with Vietnamese dishes, you're getting a whole new experience with it. If you're not familiar with Vietnamese dishes, then you're really kind of on a little flavor adventure, but you also find touches of things familiar to you in it. So it's kind of a really special place from that side of things.
Yeah, I agree. The dishes that were standouts to me were the kale salad, which had like a fish sauce dressing on it. That was really delicious. If I could have an entree-sized version of that every day, that'd be great. And the other one that stood out, but not in a good way, and this is, again, a gripe I've shared before, you got to stop calling this stuff family style, folks. You got, like, Alteño was doing it too. That's Johnny Curiel's other place in the Clayton Hotel, but they're doing it at Sapsua. They call it family style. You order a chicken sandwich, and it's just a chicken sandwich. It's like, that's not a family style sandwich. You didn't even cut it. Like, what are we going to take turns taking bites on this? I thought it was fine. It was a fine chicken sandwich. I regretted ordering it. I don't know what I was doing.
I know. I think family style, and I think like my favorite Chinese takeout place that it's for
everyone gets a scoop. Scoop it on your plate.
Literally everyone, all 8 of us get a scoop. And like, maybe that's too much, but I hear what you're saying, Paul. It's
Pass
like,
around a sandwich. What are we?
It's like the tapas idea. I was talking to my cousin's wife who's from Spain, and she was like, tapas in America are BS. She's like, we actually serve a lot of food for those. So, but here it's like you get 2 things and you're supposed to share it. So
plus we use tapas for
so
everything.
Many. That's what she said. She's like, this isn't even tapas. That's not how it works.
It's kind of part of the value conversation too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if you're calling, it's how you frame this food too, and how you sell it. So is that really great value if you're calling it family stuff? Anyway, that's just my personal growth.
Value seems very subjective.
I think Mezcaleria Alma is ready for a Bib Gourmand.
Yeah. Of the new places they've opened, Alma Fina team, that's my fave. And it just was on.
Of course. Go ahead.
If you were going to do it.
My pleasure.
I don't want to step on your toes.
Step away.
But yesterday, the New York Times dropped its 50 best restaurants in the U.S. list of this year, and Mezcaleria Alma was on there, along with Bin 707 and Grand Junction. So I think that could be a...
Did you say in Grand Junction?
Yeah.
Grand Junction's got some acclaimed. There's that other place,
love
Pesh.
this.
That's very like.
Pesh is Palisade, but same.
You make a weekend of it.
But Josh Nierenberg, who owns Bin 707, was also a James Beard finalist for Outstanding Chef, like in the whole country this year. So it's good that he's getting he's been, I think Bin 707, he started in like 2009. So really nice to see him getting recognition and the Western Slope getting
that's
some
really
recognition.
cool.
But so you could say Mezcaleria Alma being on that NYT list might bode well as a good sign for it to make the Michelin mix, except that if you look at the other places who have made the NYT list in recent years, only La Diabla made the cut on the Michelin list.
That's true. Oh man, that guy.
Who knows?
That Jose Avila, he's got a new place opening this month. By the way, he's my favorite. I love this guy.
He's
anything
awesome.
he touches, I will. El Barrio Negro, amazing. It's open in the back of La Diabla now, but he's got a new place opening called Malinche on Platt Street, which is really kind of rising again as a destination. And they were at the Food and Wine Fest too. That was my favorite bite of the whole day.
What did he make of?
Yucatecan style braised pork bao bun.
Oh wow!
Amazing.
Yeah, he
So
does
good.
awesome stuff.
Sounds delicious.
He's the best.
He's the prince. Give him another star. Give him all the stars.
Give him everything.
We'll be looking to see what Michelin actually thought here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Molly, Paul, thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you next time.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed this show, why not take a minute to tell Bobby Stuckey about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to our morning newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye-bye.